George Washington, Alexander Hamilton, Benjamin Franklin, John Adams, Thomas Jefferson. These men and several more continue to stand as some of the most influential figures of the United States of America, drafting the Declaration of Independence and helping to define the ideology and ambition of the free world. More than 200 years later, their philosophies continue to inform, educate, and inspire. So why do we have to learn about these men who fought in the American Revolution and drafted the Constitution as well as the Declaration of Independence? America's founding fathers, together with several other key players of their time, created a structure for the democratic government of the U.S. and left a legacy shaping the world. After the Revolutionary War, Benjamin Rush declared that the revolution was not complete until America's institutions were transformed in accordance with the premises of liberty. The revolution was not completed until the framers had drafted the Constitution. The Constitutional Convention of 1787 was called to revise the ailing Articles of Confederation on May 27th. However, the convention soon abandoned the articles, drafting a new constitution with a much stronger national government. 9 states had to approve the Constitution before it could go into effect. After a long and often bitter debate, 11 states ratified the Constitution, which instituted a new form of government for the United States. The delegates, 55 in all, but never more than 30 or 35 at once, sealed themselves inside a room no bigger than a large schoolroom in Philadelphia's State House. They posted sentries at the doors and windows to keep their secrets from flying out. They barred the press and public and took a vow not to reveal to anyone the words spoken. With the doors and windows closed, the little room where the convention met up for 6 hours a day was stifling hot. There were speeches that lasted 2, 3, or 4 hours. The convention took a single break for 11 days. The framers of the Constitution had a profound respect for history. In contrast to Jefferson, they looked to history and experience as a guide, not to reason or nature. They combined history for lessons about the rise and fall of great nations. The Constitution represented compromises, some of which succeeded brilliantly, and others that left an enormous burden to the generations that followed. Over the course of the debates, the delegates reached agreement on certain fundamental principles that are still followed today. They achieved a consensus that in a Republican government, power should be divided among 3 separate branches: legislative, executive, and judicial, a principle enshrined in most state constitutions. They also agreed that the central government should have direct power to tax, the new House of Representatives should be elected directly by the people, there should be periodic elections, the national government should have the sole power to regulate interstate and foreign trade. It is a measure of the success of the Constitution's drafters that after the adoption in 1791 of the 10 amendments that constitute the Bill of Rights, the original document has been changed only 17 times. At the end of the Constitutional Convention, George Washington said, "I do not expect the Constitution to last for more than 20 years. Today, the United States has the oldest written Constitution in the world. Why has the Constitution survived? The framers of the Constitution established a broad structure of government, but also left the system flexible enough to adapt to changing conditions. A document of less than 6,000 words, the Constitution is not overly detailed. Over the years, Congresses, presidents, and the courts have reinterpreted the document to meet the needs of the moment. The framework that the Founding Fathers created was not meant to be perfect. So if you can go back and add to the Constitution, what would it be?" Here is my answer.
We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are